Live from the Big Beefy Man Cave in New Bedford, Massachusetts. This is the YouTube channel vlog show in which video games, flash game show gameplays, along with sports and wrestling news are the norm. This is the YouTube channel vlog show of positivity, good times, and fun. This is Lima Shenanigans of 1977. And now, here's the host of the show, the perpetrator of these shenanigans, Big Beefy E himself, Mr. Eric M. Lima. Thank you very much, Mr. Announcer. Well, hello there. Once again, Eric Lima here coming at you with yet another episode of Eric Lima Shenanigans of 1977. November the 1st, 2022, 10:10 p.m. Just finished watching NXT, and we're going to go over that right now. As you know, doing my show, episode 127 of the show, NXT Event Center, from tonight, and it kicked off pretty good with Bron Breakker kicking off NXT as the NXT champion after conquering Ilya Dragunov and JD McDonough in a three-way dance for the NXT championship at Halloween Havoc, and addressing the NXT universe. But then the NXT tag team champions Pretty Deadly interrupts Mr. Breakker, the NXT champion, and they start running their mouths, and then Wesley comes out and interrupts Pretty Deadly. And interrupts Pretty Deadly and Bron Breakker. So they're talking about it, and they say, you know what? And it's all like a champions conference in the ring. And so Bron Breakker and Wesley goes, we'll give you the spotlight. And I'll introduce you. And they had a lot of fun with that. And he said, well, here's the thing, though. There'll be a team that could challenge you for the titles. And they're looking all to the back to see if anybody wants to come out. No, it was Wesley. So Wesley and Bron Breakker challenging them, and they said, okay, we'll accept your challenge. R-Truth comes out to interrupt our foreman to get his match ready against Grayson Waller. He left Pretty Deadly hanging with a high five, and then high fives Breakker and Lee. They do a little dance. They had a lot of fun, and then R-Truth and Grayson Waller had a great matchup until R-Truth decided to go over the top rope, jump over the top rope, and when he landed on his left leg, and he found that was kind of hurting, and because of that, the referee had to stop the match and saying R-Truth unable to compete. So, due to referee stoppage for the first matchup, Grayson Waller ended up winning the matchup, and Waller runs his mouth about his win. And nobody comes down to shut him up. I was like, oh, come on. Can somebody shut up Grayson Waller, man? That guy won't stop running his mouth. What a... That goofball from down under doesn't know when to keep his mouth shut, dude. And I thought I was bad with my big mouth. Oh my gosh, Grayson Waller is a whole lot worse than me. Trust me, you know? Listen, I said a lot of crazy things in my day. I said a lot of crazy things online. Sometimes... sometimes people will remind me, Eric, you said this, dude. Like, I feel like I'm going, oh, crap, here I go, Sometimes I feel like I'm the Leroy Jenkins of social media, but Grayson Waller, is that boy don't ever... You shut up, man. Yeah, it's like Grayson Waller, just please shut up, dude. You don't get slapped when he says he's mocking all the legends. In fact, he saw on Twitter, speaking of Twitter, he attempted to spin a Rudy, and Booker T kind of looked at Rick Joseph, he was like... I don't know this guy. So I'm like Grayson Waller, dude, one of these days, your big mouth's going to get you into trouble. And trust me when I tell you, it's going to get you in trouble. And once that happens, man, nobody's going to help you. Yeah, Grayson Waller is a goofball moron. And I'm sort of surprised that Johnny Gargano, even though he's made it to the main roster, never gets a chance to go after Grayson Waller. I suggest that Grayson Waller goes up to Raw, finds Johnny Gargano for it. I says, Gargano Waller WrestleMania. Come on, somebody sign that match up, please. Anyway, so to R-Truth, hopefully he gets better and gets well. He's a national treasure, just like Sami Zayn's being, and we miss him. Well, Vic Joseph had a sit-down interview with the Schism, and Ava Raine was a little upset when Vic Joseph asked her all the questions. And you know what, though? And like if somebody was WWE on BT Sport the Twitter account asked, what would The Rock think of this? And Ava Raine, who is in real life The Rock's daughter, said irrelevant. Call your dad the most electrifying man in sports entertainment today irrelevant. Now, I understand you want to make a name for yourself, but do you actually want to risk it by disrespecting your dad like that, Ava Raine? Well, we'll find out. See, and I'm sure, but at the same time, in real life, I'm sure her dad must be thinking she's taking her own path, and that's the way you got to go. So we'll see what happens. And so there you go. Javier Bernal was standing outside HBK's office, and he talked to Nofe and Blade about how close they came to tag team champions. He said, my next opponent will be who Michael's chosen. And then Odyssey Jones busted out and said, hey, Javier Bernal, I got a match against you, buddy. Good luck. And everything else. And Javier Bernal was like, oh, that's not good. So, and Kiana James was handing her secretary, Giovanna, an envelope. And Giovanna walked one direction as Kiana James was heading to the ring. Indi, Hartwell, and Zoey Stark earlier in the day argued with each other about, and Zoey Stark's temper almost got the best of the women's locker room, had to separate the two of them before they came to blows. And Thea Hale was working out and warming up while Andre Chase was pep-talking her, but as of this morning, Bodie Hayward has been released by the WWE. But then Duke Hudson ended up grabbing the Chase flag, busting through some gray paper and said, let's go, boss. So, anyways, and was waving the Chase U flag. Thea Hale and Kiana James once again went one-on-one. And Kiana James did lose after Andre Chase tried to save Thea Hale by putting the foot on the bottom ropes, but Andre Chase says, well, don't do that. Get your butt back into the back. But then after the match was over, which Kiana James won, Charlie Dempsey came back to attack Andre Chase. But despite getting sent to the back by Chase, Duke Hudson comes out and stops Chase. So, don't know what the motivation of Duke Hudson is. We'll find out. Well, Mackenzie Mitchell interviewed Josh Briggs, Brooks Jensen, and Fallon Henley, and they talked about they're rooting for Breaker and Lee to become tag team champions. But if not, we'll have to. Bray Daily's going to have to face us. And then Giovanna hands Henley an envelope. The envelope. So we don't know what's in the envelope that Fallon Henley read. I probably her bar has something to do with it. We know Kiana James and her business ventures. Who knows for sure of what's going on. All right. Now Breaker and Lee did talk about their match, but Mr. Stone interrupts them, saying that Braun Wagner's going to come in after Braun Breaker. Breaker's like, you bring it on, and all that. Odyssey Jones went one-on-one with Big Body Javier Bernal. Odyssey Jones won his first match back. Toxic Attraction was celebrating Mandy Rose's 1 year celebration. So, 1 year celebration, but it was cut short. I mean, the party was interrupted by Alba Fire, and then she put Gigi Dolan through a table view, her gory bomb. She looked at Mandy and says, you know what? I took her out this week. Next week I'm taking out JC Jane, and in 2 weeks' time I'm taking you out and taking the title away from you, Mandy Rose. So, and Mitchell interviewed Apollo Crews, and then about Apollo Crews' ambition was to become the NXT champ, but Von Wagner interrupts him, saying he's better than Crews and everyone else, and he's going to be the NXT champion. Scripps once again calls the PC again, but here's the thing: Scripps ended up leaving his calling card on the PC building. So then Zoey Stark and Indi Hartwell went one-on-one. Zoey Stark almost went crazy to the point where Nikita Lyons had to talk her out of it, but she ended up losing her match to Indi Hartwell. And T-Bar cut another promo, like discarding his mask, but he might be going under a new name now. Umar has the name Donovan Dijak is the name to be mentioned as his Ring of Honor name. Valentina Feroz talked to Sangha, asking him why he was not in her corner and everything else. Wendy Chu was looking on, feeling very sad. And then Veer Mahan interrupts them. He starts talking to Sangha. Sangha's, I'm sorry. Speaking of, then Nikita Lyons was talking to Zoey Stark, trying to calm her down. Zoey Stark was getting angry. But Katana Chase and Kaden Carter interrupting them, starts running their mouths. How they're not going to beat them. Then, Zoey Stark held her temper back. Valentina Feroz went one-on-one with Cora Jade, and then Cora Jade ended up winning the matchup, and then she tries to hurt Feroz with the kendo stick. But Wendy Chu does stop Jade from harming Valentina Feroz. Tony D'Angelo is talking to Stacks about his matchup against Hank Walker next week. But then Elektra Lopez interrupts them. She's going on her own. She's going to do her thing. And then Stacks asks, are you sure that she can do it on her own? And then he goes, do you believe that? And Tony D'Angelo says, I believe I can. Then the main event, the tag team title match, Pretty Deadly, putting their titles on the line against the NXT heavyweight champion Bron Breakker and NXT North American champion Mr. Wes Lee. Both of these teams went at it until Carmelo Hayes got involved, costing Breakker and Lee a chance to win the tag team titles. And then, as Wes Lee and Carmelo Hayes brawled to the back, Von Wagner booted Breakker to the face, and crew looks on. J.D. McDonald approaches him and says something to the effect of, your vision is going to be dull. Give me a second. So that is all the time. That is all the time we have on this show. As you know, before I conclude this video, as you know, I've been working on a couple of lists to get ready for my top of the Shenanigans charts. I have already, I'm trying to compile more lists. Top favorite, my personal favorite SpongeBob episodes. My favorite Roller Jammers from WSL Roller Jammer on TNN. My favorite Three Stooges episodes. And my favorite 80s cartoons. My favorite Mario Kart tracks. My favorite Disney movies that we have to complete. So, I will, like I said, top 5, top 10, top 15, top 20. Got favorite places that I miss. And favorite Red Sox players, past and present. I'm trying to, it's a little bit of sneak preview of what the top of the Shenanigans charts is going to be all about. So, I personally cannot wait for this. And I just personally I'm just stoked about everything going on. So, that's all the time we have on the show for tonight. I'll see you on the next episode, or probably tomorrow when I play some Wild Wednesday, The Joker's Wild. Tomorrow's AEW Dynamite. Until then, you guys have a wonderful, blessed night. And remember, peace and love. Until that time comes, Mr. Announcer, until the next episode, please bring us home. That is all for today's episode. This is Mr. Lima speaking for Eric Lima Shenanigans of 1977. A Big Beefy E, tour for Bob Saget production, and in association with A Sweet Bumbling Bofo Raver Telepictures and Distribution. See you next episode, and have a very blessed day.